Hello, Oracles! Well, we got rejected by $200 three times today. We did finish up 1.82%, so it was a nice little move on the day. A lot of that was due to this morning when we got our PPI data that came in. We did beat expectations. This was very nice to see. We had year over year expectations of 8.3%, and we came in at 8%. We had month over month expectations of 0.4%. We came in at 0.2%. We also got month over month core numbers at 0%. So that is flat. This is great news, and this is still us trending in the right direction when it comes to inflation. So we saw a nice run up pre-market and then started pushing higher than that. So several times, and again, $200 is a psychological level that Tesla would have to cross. We bounced off of that three times. As we have discussed before, when you get a triple bounce, usually you get rejected pretty hard. So this was triple bounce in one day. We got rejected down. Part of the reason that we got rejected down was there was news that we got out of Poland of a Russian missile hitting a farm over there. So still getting some details on this, so I apologize at the time of this recording. There's rumors that maybe a couple people got killed, maybe not. Don't have all the details, so I apologize for all of that, but that is the reason why we ended up seeing the market pull down at that point. And so I'm sure tonight we'll get some more information on that to see how that's going to transpire when it comes to the entire world getting involved in this whole entire war going on over there. But if you guys know any information, please share it in the comments below. Again, this is still early on in the recording, so I do not know all the information. So either way, the good news is we do have inflation signals bringing us down. We are getting a lot of good signs about inflation and everything starting to settle. So we do have information coming from the Fed. Sounds like right now the market is pricing in a 50 basis point hike with an 80% chance. So with the news that we have been getting here with this PPI data, we might get lower than that. I do not know, but based upon the fact that we got CPI that came in lower than expectations, we got PPI that came in lower than expectations. We have a lot of employers out there laying people off. Not a good thing, but with the jobs market being as hot as it is, it's kind of something that we need right now in order to balance everything off. We also have a lot less hiring going on during this holiday season. So with these things all coming together at the same time, starting to look like we are getting the pieces falling into place of everything starting to settle so we can finally get ourselves a nice balancing point so the Fed can make that turn and we can start bringing interest rates down or at least staying stable for a little while. So again, we are looking at a potential 50 basis point hike, but if we end up getting CPI and PPI data coming out in December showing another big beat with inflation readings, then maybe the Fed ends up going a little more dovish and maybe only a 25 basis point hike. Still a lot to get through between now and then, but these are very good signs to pay attention to. So now we'll jump into the charts, and as we can see here, we've got this nice little break out of this downward channel. But again, something to pay attention to is we did this before, and then we did a dead cat bounce and came back into it. So are we going to end up doing the same thing and come back down, or are we going to stay out of this and continue consolidating? Nobody knows for sure. We will pay attention to see how this trades over the next few days, especially going into the holiday next week. But this is just something I am starting to pay attention to right now. So the volume came back down to this 90 million shares traded mark. So this is much lower than that 128 million that we were seeing last week. Again, no Form 4 filings from Elon that came out yet. I will continue to monitor this, but it looks like Elon may actually be done selling, and that higher volume that we ended up getting in the latter part of last week may have just been some hedge funds just trying to toy with us to try and get us to emotionally react to Elon potentially selling more. And so now I've been having a lot of questions being asked recently of what are the most current gaps that we have for Tesla stock. This is something that we have tracked all year long, and following these gaps, again, gaps will fill 9 out of 10 times. A gap is going to be a discrepancy between when a stock closes and a stock opens the next day. So for instance, if the stock closes at $177 today, and then it opens tomorrow at $185, and it does not retrace those steps back down to 177, we have that gap that is open. So these happen regularly. Usually they happen to fill within the next day, but sometimes they could take months or even years to fill. So I'm going to go back, and don't hate me for this, but I'm going to go back to March of 2020. This is prior to the first split. Just going to put these out here just to say that they do exist, but it has been a long time, so there's a very good chance that they will not fill, but it's just something good to keep on your radar. So paying attention to the first gap that we have goes all the way back to March 23rd of 2020 down to $27.47. Next gap is going to go to April 7th. That one goes down to $34.73. After that, we've got a gap that goes back to April 13th. That is at $38.35. Shortly after that, on the next day, we have a gap that goes down to 43.47. After that, on May 29th, we have a gap down to 55.67. And then shortly thereafter, on June 5th, there is a gap down to 59.10. After that, we have another gap that takes us at July 1st to 75.69. Then July 2nd to 81.87. And then we have a gap on August 11th at 94.67. This is when we had the announcement for the first split. So we took off from there. So this is why a lot of times prior to the first split, we may not get those gaps filled just because of the fact that they were prior to the split. Again, they fill 9 out of 10 times. These do not have to fill, but I wanted to mention them and put them on everyone's radar. And so the next gap up from there is going to be on November 16th of 2020 at 137.48. Above that, we have a gap on November 24th of 175.33. So surprisingly, this gap here did not get filled most recently when we dipped down. We did dip down to 177, but we did not come down to this level here. So based upon some of the things that we're seeing in the charts right now, with another potential dead cat bounce, we may end up coming down and filling this gap at 175. Now, if Chicken Genius is right and we do end up coming down to 140, for whatever reason, we may end up filling this gap at 137. Based upon the data that we have been coming in today with the inflation readings with PPI and CPI, I don't think we are going to go down any further than that unless we get some sort of macro black swan event, like if this, missile hitting Poland for some reason turns into a larger world war, then yes, we are going to see this pull down further. If the Fed decides to over tighten and we go too far into this and they don't release and we get into that Great Depression scenario that we had discussed the other day, then sure, those lower gaps could get filled. But as of right now, based upon the data that we have currently, I don't think we will get any lower than this potential gap right here at 137. And so now gaps do go in the other direction, and those gaps also fill 9 out of 10 times. And so the gap that we do have above us goes up to 262. So sometimes with these gaps that are higher than we're at right now, could take a while depending on what time the market is going to end up turning around, just because of the fact that a lot of times companies are going to end up going up when it comes to their stock price over time. So eventually it will end up crossing that again. I do think we're going to end up crossing that. If we don't cross it before the end of the year, we'll cross it probably in Q1 of next year. But I have a feeling we are going to be crossing that and filling that gap relatively soon. And so currently those are all the gaps that I see for Tesla entirely. So if I missed any, please let me know. I may have missed one of the small gray areas on this chart here. I will dive into Yahoo Finance because they do break it down on a larger spreadsheet to be able to find them as well. It's just a nice visual here on these charts to look at them. So again, those are the gaps. Personally, I do not think we are going to go any lower than the 137 gap if we even get to that point down below us. But those are just things that I see on the radar for gaps. So jumping over to some Tesla specific news, we've got Sawyer Merritt here tweeting out that Tesla chair Robin Denholm said Tesla might produce 100 semi-trucks this year. So this may not seem very big, but I had them slated for about 25. So 100 is significant. Elon is saying they're looking to be producing 50,000 by 2024, which I thought my prediction of 10,000 for 2023 was high, but based upon Elon's projections, I might actually be low at 10,000. So you guys can let me know in the comments below how many you think Tesla is going to produce for 2023. But 100 for this year, I think, is going to be awesome. And these, of course, as you guys know, will start getting delivered on December 1st to Pepsi. And we also got some great feedback from Charlie Munger giving some compliments to Tesla. I'll let you guys listen here.
I also got the chance to ask Mr. Munger about Elon Musk. Over the weekend, there was a Twitter account that tweets out quotes supposedly from Elon Musk. This one said, "I was at a lunch with Munger in 2009 where he told the whole table all the ways Tesla would fail. Made me quite sad, but I told him I agreed with all those reasons and that we would probably die, but it was worth trying anyway." Now, Elon Musk himself replied back to that and said, "True, that did happen." I asked Charlie Munger about it. He doesn't recall that lunch. It was a long time ago, 2009, probably made a bigger impression on Elon Musk than it did on Charlie Munger. However, when you talk to him about it, he doesn't remember giving the diagnosis. He still had some kind things to say about Elon Musk.
I was certainly surprised that Tesla did as well as it did. But I do not equate Tesla with Bitcoin.
Good.
Tesla has made some real contributions to civilization. Elon Musk has done some good things that other people couldn't do.
In fact, about Musk's work at Tesla, Munger was very complimentary.
We haven't had a successful new auto company in a long, long time. What Tesla has done in the car business is a minor miracle.
And so to come from a guy like Charlie Munger with the experience that he has in investing in the market and the longevity he has had to be able to say that what Elon has done with Tesla is a minor miracle is enormous. There's rumors out there right now saying that, maybe this means that Warren Buffett and Charlie are going to be investing in Tesla stock. Don't know for sure. I'm not going to go that far. But, that is a huge kudos to Elon and what he has accomplished. We have seen Elon accomplish so many things. Think about what he's done with SpaceX, renewable rockets that nobody thought was actually going to be possible. He is now taking astronauts to outer space for a significantly lower cost than the Russians were doing it for, and we're doing it now here on US soil again. We also have Elon, who has converted the entire world over to EVs. He has started that. Sure, EVs existed before Elon came in, but Elon and Tesla have been the ones who started the entire world to transition over to this, whereas before, nobody thought it could actually be done at a profitable level. They are proving this. Now, Elon taking over Twitter, people who are doubting what he's able to do there, look, if he's able to perform a minor miracle in the eyes of Charlie Munger, pretty sure that Elon has the capabilities of doing it again when it comes to Twitter. We still have to see how this is going to all play out, but this is just great news coming out of Charlie Munger. This is good positive sentiment. This is good feels, despite everything that we have been going on lately with all the negativity. If anybody's going to come out and give a positive word about it and have it actually mean something and genuine, then Charlie's going to be the guy to come out and say it. I'd love to have Warren come out and say it also, but having Charlie say it is huge. And having the fact that he does not compare and equate Tesla to Bitcoin. They do not like it. They don't like cryptocurrencies. That's fine. And as we've seen with what's going on with FTX, I don't blame them at all. They're probably sitting back going, see, we told you so. But with the fact that he's saying Tesla is different than that, Tesla actually is doing something to change the world, that's significant. So to wrap it up, again, watching the charts, I don't know which way we are going to go. Will we continue consolidating and then continue breaking out and then go up from here? Or did that $200 rejection force us down into a further dead cat bounce? We'll pay attention to that. For me, when it comes to the really good things to pay attention to is the inflation data that we got from the PPI, because that is giving us that indication that we are indeed coming down with inflation. And that is the point. So whatever happens with Tesla's stock price specifically for the next 6 months truly doesn't matter unless something collapses with Tesla. I'm paying attention to Tesla's fundamentals. The stock price is going to more closely follow what happens with the macro environment. If in the macro environment, we see inflation continuing to come down, the jobs market cooling off, and the Fed can actually pivot and start bringing interest rates down, that in itself is going to turn the stock price around, and then it will catch back up to where the fundamentals are. That's what I'm really paying attention to. So again, when it comes down to the point where we're saying that Tesla stock right now is at a massive discount, it is because we are seeing a disconnect between the fundamentals of the company and the stock price. At least that is what I see in my opinion. Once we end up seeing the macro blanket lift, we will see the stock price go back to where the fundamentals are, and then we can run up from there, fill that higher gap, and then move on to all-time highs. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, we do have a membership program and a Patreon. Those links are also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.